This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. This meeting is an in-person meeting held at 870 Colfax here in Benton Harbor. In addition, a live stream of this meeting is available at the following link. Questions may be submitted beforehand to natalie.singer@bhas.org or presented in person during the public comment section as indicated in the agenda. Board members may be contacted through the emails listed below. Requests for special assistance, including for persons with disabilities, may be sent to natalie.singer@bhas.org. Call this meeting to order officially at 6:12 p.m. We'll begin by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Singer, in the absence of Secretary Triplet, can you please call the roll?
President Robinson,
Present.
Vice President Bowens,
Present.
Secretary Triplett, Treasurer Bradley, Trustee Rocket Martin,
Present.
Trustee Gavin,
President.
Trustee Doyle. Madam President, a quorum is present.
All right, awesome. Up next, we have approval of the agenda. We have a light agenda this evening.
Madam President,
You have the floor.
make a motion that we approve the agenda, but consent item on Policy and Discipline Committee.
Yeah, they would all be voted at, they would all naturally, it's just a read through. Do you want to amend that and take it off?
We gotta do it.
We don't vote tonight. This is a work session.
Okay, so can we remove the Policy and Discipline Committee?
I have no objections. I have no objections because the committee has not had an opportunity to dissect and discuss if there's any concerns regarding the policies. And I have not had an opportunity to get that feedback from them, so I have no objections to removing that.
Yes, because I want to send some recommendations for conflict of interest.
Okay, so you're making a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of the Policy and Discipline Committee?
That is correct.
Okay, is there a second or support?
Support.
The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Trustee Rocket Martin. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Singer.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, so up next, very exciting. We have the approval of the superintendent contract. You have the floor.
Don't you gotta vote on the meeting minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm moving. I'm ready. I haven't done a board norm. Public comment.
You look like you were about to go out before, no, like.
You're right. I'm ready to get, can anybody tell I'm ready to get this done? Okay, let's back up a little bit. Next. Up next, we have review of our Board of Education norms. Thank you so much to my Vice President. Let me slow down a bit. The norms of collaboration for, the norms for Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education. We will treat each other with respect. We will listen to learn. We will refrain from side conversations. We will use our time wisely, starting and ending our meetings on time. We will challenge ideas, not people. We will ask questions when in doubt. There will be no surprises at the board table. We will practice the 7 norms of collaboration. Those are pausing, paraphrasing, posing questions, putting ideas on the table, providing data, paying attention to self and others, and presuming positive intentions. Up next, we have public comment on agenda items. Is there anyone present that would like to make a public comment on an agenda item? Hearing none, we'll proceed. Up next is the approval of the meeting minutes. As you're aware, this is our work session. So in our regular board meeting, we will be approving the minutes for regular session 6/10/2025, special session 6/14/2025, special session 6/24/2025, and special session, the budget hearing 6/26/2025. If there's any noticed amendments that are needed to the minutes, you can notate that now. If not, I would ask that the board do a deep dive into the minutes, and we'll be prepared to vote on those in our regular board meeting for the month of August. Reminder protocol as of 9/13/2022. All comments will be limited to 2 minutes per trustee per topic. Now we are at board business, the approval of the superintendent contract. So as the public and the board is aware, we have selected Dr. Simone Griffin as our superintendent of schools pending contract negotiations as of July 8th, 2025. Over the past 2 weeks, we have worked vigorously with Dr. Griffin to come to an approved and agreed upon tentative contract between Dr. Griffin and the Board of Education. So the board has a hard copy of that contract. And so it correlates with staff report B1. And so I will read that in its totality. Yes, sir.
Contract?
No, the resolution, just the resolution. Staff report B1, resolution number 2025-08. Resolution to approve the employment contract of the superintendent. Benton Harbor Area Schools, Berrien County, Michigan, the district. A regular meeting of the Board of Education of the district. The board was held in Benton Harbor High School Library within the boundaries of the district on the 22nd day of July in 2025 at 6:00 p.m. Of course, we'll add that I called to meeting order and all of those that were present. Whereas the Board of Education of Benton Harbor Area Schools, in accordance with its duty to ensure the effective leadership and administration of the school district, has conducted a thorough search and selection process for the position of superintendent of schools. And whereas the board has selected Dr. Simone Griffin as the most qualified candidate to serve as superintendent and has negotiated the terms of an employment contract that reflects the mutual understanding and agreement between the board and Dr. Griffin. And whereas the terms of proposed employment contract have been reviewed by the board and legal counsel, and it is the recommendation of the board president and the board that the board approve the contract as presented. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of Benton Harbor Area Schools does hereby approve the employment contract between the Board of Education and Dr. Simone Griffin for the position of superintendent of schools. And be it further resolved that the president and the secretary of the board are hereby authorized and directed to execute the employment contract on behalf of the board and to take all necessary actions to implement the terms thereof. Adopted this 22nd day of July 2025 by the Board of Education for Benton Harbor Area Schools. At this time, I'll ask, is there a motion to approve?
Madam President,
Yes.
make a motion that we approve the superintendent's contract of employment with change under use of district vehicle.
Okay, what's your recommended change?
When you drive around our city, you see potholes, you see construction, and we know our streets are notorious for repairs. I personally believe the superintendent should receive a monthly allowance of $175. With the inflation and the tariffs and oil costing, you just don't know. I think we should make that at $200 a month.
Okay, so you would like to approve the contract as noted with the amendment of $200?
That is correct.
Okay. Would there be a support for that from the board?
Well, I guess I've lose then.
Okay.
Let's stick to 175.
Okay, so I'll ask now, is there a motion to approve staff report B1 with the contract as it stands with the 175 vehicle usage? Okay, so the motion has been made by trustee Rocket Martin. Is there a second or support? Support. The motion has been made by trustee Rocket Martin and supported by trustee Gavin that we approve staff report B1 concerning the superintendent contract as provided. Any additional questions, comments, or concerns? You have the
Madam
floor.
President, two things. Are we on Zoom? Okay,
Yes.
because people are texting me, can't get in.
Can you check the waiting room? All right, you have the floor.
Thank you. I am excited about the future and great possibilities that we'll be having with our new superintendent. I believe she will bring a professional level that we need, and I am excited. I would encourage our board to take away any doubts or any concerns that you've had that you did not have the past 4 years, and let's focus on moving forward. I'm putting our personal vendettas and oughts and stuff aside And let's focus on let's doing the right thing, and that's making sure that we are accommodating and being there for our superintendent.
Thank you. Any additional comments from the board table? Trustee Gavin?
Thank you, President Robinson. I too am equally excited about Dr. Griffin. I'm excited about her energy. I'm excited about her framework. I'm excited about her commitment to transparency, about student-centered leadership, and her ideas about making sure that everybody can come to the table equally accountable and equally having the opportunity to contribute to the solutions. And I'm excited about her leadership, and I want to be able to support her in any way that I can as a board member. And so I think that I think we're all on the same page now. And so I just believe that the best is yet to come for both Dr. Griffin and for Benton Harbor area schools. I think it's a great marriage, and I'm excited about this contract.
All right, trustee Doyle.
Greetings. I am equally super excited about Dr. Griffin coming. This is my daughter's senior year, and to have such great leadership come and play to help make her last year the best year, I am beyond grateful to have her come on board and yes, do what she does.
All right, I would like to give trustee Rocket Martin an opportunity.
I'm also excited, so excited. I like to go ahead and vote and get her in.
All right.
If possible.
So you asking that well, we only have one other person that hasn't spoken. Did you want an opportunity to make a comment regarding approval of the contract?
Yeah, I've had an opportunity to look at the contract, go through the contract, and again, too, I'm excited about the contract, the agreement, how smooth the negotiations were. So that's a good sign, a good start. So I'm excited and ready for us to move forward.
All right, my only comment, to God be the glory. So at this time, I would ask Secretary Triplett if you could call the vote for approval for staff report B1, resolution to approve the employment contract of the superintendent.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Bradley, Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Absolutely.
motion carries.
All right, so congratulations to Dr. Griffin and Benton Harbor Area Schools. We now have a superintendent who will be beginning Monday with our district. So I'm super excited. She's actually en route here. So she will arrive about 7:30 p.m. and then we will give her an opportunity to provide comments to the board and public at that time. All right, so we're gonna move right along. I do think we'll be wrapping up about the time that she gets here because we do not have much on the agenda tonight. Our first item of business is the Curriculum and Student Support Committee Work Session Agenda. I'll pass the mic to Chair Gavin.
Thank you so much, President Robinson. I'm so excited about our committee meeting with Dr. Burnick and Director Nichols. And just the work that Director Kupch has been doing alongside them as well. And so my updates are about the recommendation from Trustee Rocket Martin for us as a committee to agree on a goal for ourselves. I gave it a lot of thought, and I'm hoping that this committee will agree with me as I encourage us to set forth a goal around the education development plan of the student. I spoke with Dr. Burnick and Director Nichols about what is entailed in that education development plan. And if you can imagine, ideally, what would happen in Benton Harbor is every student from the fourth grade and above will have an individual education development plan. And in that plan, they will have their personality style tests. We're hoping that they will have their learning style information. Their parents would know how they best learn. They will know how they best learn. They will be clear about their personality traits and about the academic plan that they have and the goals that they have for themselves. They will use that plan as kind of a way to keep a portfolio of all of their successes, what they're doing well, what it is they need to work on, and they will use that plan to guide them in their learning and also their career and tech courses, their arts involvement. And so if you imagine this student and their parents and their teachers are now collaborating on this plan from fourth grade on up. And if we can look towards making a commitment or a goal of, you know, a certain percentage of our students having that EDP and being clear on that EDP within a certain amount of time, like setting a SMART goal on that, and then us using this committee space to kind of track that. And if you imagine now a high school senior has done that and they're able to defend their portfolio with all their successes and their well-rounded education, they are now the spokesperson for their lives and for our district and for their success. And so when I spoke with the team, the committee about it, they seem to be very excited, and I don't want to misrepresent them. So I would love it if Director Nichols or Dr. Burnett could share how they felt about that as something that we would work towards. Your raw thoughts, no pressure.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. I think that one of the biggest things that we talked about was we have to start thinking forward, and best practice dictates that we start saying, all right, what is it you want to be when you grow up? And the sky's the limit, and we should have all that opportunity. And then I think the idea of reflecting on it senior year or junior year is just would be really fun and a cool process. You know, like I wanted to be an astronaut when I was in third grade, and now I want to be I don't know, an astronaut still. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to coming up with a good EDP template and something that, you know, is accessible and something that we can use throughout our district. Director Nichols?
I would just add that I like the fact that we'll start early. That is something that is very important with everything that we're doing in education. We started early, that foundation, because then by the time they do get ready to graduate, because that's the purpose, for them to be able to graduate. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And I think it's in alignment. Of course, we'll never be sure until we actually talk to Dr. Griffin, and we want to be respectful of her leadership. But I do believe that it is in alignment with some of the things that she mentioned. And so I appreciate Dr. Burnick identifying you know, I could tell he's been thinking about it, like, okay, we want to come up with the right template for it. And so of course we want to look for ways for students, teachers, parents to be checking in on that EDP and using it as their guide, and just their portfolio of tracking their success. So I'll open it up. I'm not sure if my colleagues have any thoughts about that, especially the ones on the curriculum committee. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Director Cupsh, I would love to hear your input on that. My apologies.
There is a countywide committee that was started in the fall based on truly countywide data with Zello, which is the platform that is being used for middle school and high school to build these EDPs. The usage data shows that all of the schools in the county are struggling with this. So we brought together, Barry and Risa brought together members of the educational committee, members from the business community, a really a wide range of people, and there are kind of three subgroups within the committee. I am in the group with the birth to grade 5, kind of elementary space and preparing for school. Also kind of that parent university piece of it. There is a middle school subcommittee, and there is a high school subcommittee. Director Wilson is part of the high school group, I believe. But the goal is to really bring all of the pieces together for that whole child EDP. Instead of just, I want to be an astronaut. That's awesome. You want to be an astronaut. Let's create some countywide experiences for all the kids that have similar kinds of educational goals. And then as they grow older and mature, maybe they realize that they don't want to go into space, but they want to do the math that's required to get other people to go into space. Or maybe they want to be a dietitian that works with astronauts to be able to fuel their body for the hardships that they're going to encounter by going to space. So that it's truly like a full county-wide kind of program. We do already have some Zello and EDP training set for our school counselors, CTE director, myself, the graduation advisors during that hopefully that first week back. We have it on the calendar for 8/20. So this is definitely something that we've been talking about a lot through the school year, and Dr. Griffin is going to have incredible ideas to weave into all of this. So I think we will really see something pretty amazing come together for our students and get them excited about what they want to do in the future.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you chimed in, Director Kupch. If you can imagine our students taking part in their own rescue, right? And being very active in their own academic, not just academic, but their whole, the whole student's career. And then having their parents involved and then creating opportunities for them to get mentors to tap in and support them as well. And then their teachers being clear on who this person is in front of me that I am servicing and learning with them from. So I would love to open the floor up if especially those who share the curriculum committee with me, but all of the board members, if you have any concerns, ideas, thoughts about this being a goal for our curriculum, instruction, and student support services committee. Or clarifying questions. Oh, yes, Trustee Doyle, I'm sorry.
I just want to say it sounds amazing. Like that would be a wonderful opportunity for our kids to get a foundation in the beginning of their learning and work up as they go up in grade. And I just think it's amazing. That's a wonderful idea. And I think our kids would really, really benefit, and it may even possibly bring more of our kids back once they see the fruit of this program. I'm excited. Can you give us like a timeline? How soon will the kids be able to get started right when school start, or how soon?
The EDP is a requirement as part of the MMC requirements for graduation. So it's not that we're starting at that we didn't have before. The goal is to make what we have been doing much stronger and broader for all of the students.
Yeah. And so to answer, it would probably be a matter of what will our SMART goal be, and how quickly can we implement, agree on this is the SMART goal. We want X amount of students in the 4th grade to, have the EDP and by this date. And so I think, it will be good for us to have that SMART goal ready by either the next board meeting or the next work session, if it's okay with the committee.
I have a quick question. Did you say, are we starting this in 4th? Because the paperwork says grade 7. Are we going beyond the 7th?
I'm glad you asked. We talked about that in the committee and I'm not sure if it was Dr. Okay, yeah, Dr. Burnick let us know that the requirement is seventh grade, but best practices is fourth grade.
Okay.
And so I said, I think we agreed that let's go with best practices.
Okay, and then the second question that I have another question and then a comment. The second question that I had is for Dr. Kupch. You said this is a particular legal requirement, and it's not that we haven't been doing this. What is it that we've been doing to meet the requirement? Because there's a lot that you all do internal that doesn't come before the board table, so all of this sounds like a brand new concept to me. So I'm just trying to just want more clarification as to what we've been doing internal to meet that requirement.
So this, excuse me, the students at the middle school start with Zello.
Okay.
It's kind of an introduction in sixth grade, and they start actually building some things in seventh and eighth grade. They do need to have a 4-year plan where they look at the courses that are available in high school, what their potential goals may be. Do I want to do work-based learning? Do I want to do a specific CTE program? Am I on a college track? Am I on a military enlistment track? Am I on a career certification or maybe a technical school sort of track? And then to put their 4-year plan together, that's in Zello. Every student, we can see their 4-year plan. We did have conversations with them when I was the CTE director to add a year 5 to that plan so that it's not just through graduation, but it's planning for that first year out of high school also. The high school, there are different activities that they complete each school year. We want to weave those more into academic classes so that they are requirements. And then there's a teacher that can help and coach them through it. They're already completing a career interest survey and kind of a personality test that goes in to the Zello portfolio that's being built. They can upload artifacts from any class into Zello that can become part of that portfolio. They can continue to have access to their Zello portfolio as long as their email address stays in our system. So they would be able to use that when they are applying for scholarships or college training programs, that sort of thing, for the first couple of years until they start to build a professional portfolio instead of an educational portfolio. So it is something that we are already doing on a small scale, but we just want to give more oomph to those activities that they're doing so that they have more adult support. We want to give them more career exploration opportunities to really see what is that career really like beyond what they have seen on TV or what they assume that particular career is going to be.
Thank you. And then the final comment that I had is just that I think this is amazing, that this is something that we're initiating. I'm super excited. I also think it goes hand in hand with a previous conversation that we had at the table about what the former structure for career pathways were. How we had a teacher cadet track, an engineering track. And I know it was clarified to us that we don't necessarily have it in that way, in that vein now. But I think with each of the students putting in this amount of labor collaboratively with our staff, this should be able to lay that groundwork for getting those pathways, that foundation set. So I'm super excited. All right.
So much, President Robinson. I see Trustee Raquel Martin's hand up.
I know it's in the computer for Zello, like you said, for the junior high and the high school kids. If we started in fourth, is there a way that we could also digitize their information? Because I can remember doing portfolios for children. We've done this before. And we had boxes and boxes of materials that would go along with the students. So we really just kind of ran out of space. But that was, of course, before the digital age. So if there's a digital way, this is great. We have a digital way that we can put their information in the system and kind of just let it stay in and float along with them as they go from grade level to grade level. This is a great idea.
There's a lot of different options. I've worked with students in the past to build their own Google site so that they would have ownership of all of their portfolio items. That way they have not only the soft skill of how do I build this Google site to market myself, but then also have access to those documents and pieces of evidence to show how they have grown. So that's one option. Zello actually does start in kindergarten. We would have to determine whether, the cost benefit analysis of that to add 2 more grade levels to our Zello subscription, but that is also an option. Just strictly a paper pencil kind of a portfolio of having a binder to keep track of some of those important things that you've done over the school year, just to help kids to understand that there are things that we want to keep because they have value. So your artifacts of your learning and your growth, those are important things to keep, just like your payroll stub or your tax documents for 7 years. So there's value in all of those different methods. We just need to make the decision that makes the most sense for our students here in Benton Harbor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see Secretary Tripplett's hand up.
Yes, thank you. It's good to see this, these type of conversations being held. And as Trustee Rocket Martin stated, those portfolios are very, very important if you're going to sustain them and keep them moving. And they become a part of how they document what it is that they're doing. The class of 2015 just recently had their 10-year class reunion. And the last week of their senior year, their advisor, Mr. Ardell Clark, had them to write letters saying where they thought they would be in 10 years. And he kept those letters. And so at their reunion Saturday, everybody got a chance to read their letters. And it was a very, very, very emotional time for them. Some had accomplished what they said they thought they would be 10 years from now. And then some was trying to be funny. I got 15 minutes to get 2 children. And I got 15 minutes to get 2 children at a house. They laughed about it. But these things, I think these things are very, very critical. When we were doing the work on the portfolios, they had an opportunity to actually, go into thought and have conversation at that particular time. One of my questions would be, what do we have in place to ensure those students who might not be as technically literate, that everybody will have the skill set and be trained in order to do the necessary work, in the simplest form. Because if it's something that we're going to do, it needs to be something that they, a lot of times you heard kids say they didn't know how to go in. They didn't know how to do this, and people just wash over it. So hopefully you guys will look into that and make sure that everybody, regardless of what grade level, without making any assumptions, that there is a technology piece in the beginning and throughout the process on how to upload, download, how to enter, how to access all of these things, and how to monitor. But I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. That's a really great question. We need to include that in our strategizing because we want to make sure that all are included. And it is an opportunity to enhance technical skills for the students and their parents. So it may be a good interactive, opportunity to interact with parents and students also. And I think I've gone over time, so I'm gonna turn it over to whoever's next on the agenda, Dr. Burnett.
I'm sorry, I didn't have the agenda.
You want us to come back?
Fine.
We could come back. We can go to Director Nichols and then. Are you good with that, Dr. Burnett?
I'll go real quick.
Oh, you can.
Director
Okay.
Nichols, my apologies. So as far as special education, we're looking at some transfers of position. An ASD classroom being established at Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary. And then an emotional impairment classroom is really a self-contained room that's being relabeled at Fairplain Middle. And then transfer of a resource room teacher into a different resource room. We're changing buildings, Discovery Enrichment Center to Fairplain East.
Short and sweet, like I like it.
Wasn't there some good news behind that, Dr. Burnett? I thought we were supposed to be cheering and
We,
some good.
yeah. We are celebrating, so the establishment of the ASD classroom is because one of our teachers, Mrs. Hardaway, had finished her ASD endorsement.
Can you say what
And,
ASD is?
oh yeah, I'm sorry, autism spectrum disorder. So she finished her autism spectrum disorder certification, passed the state test, did all that she had to do. And we have a great need for that, and that's awesome. We're really excited. She's really excited. And the teacher that is essentially taking her spot in the middle school, Miss Felicia Hall, was successful in the UTRP program through Western
What
and
is UPRP, please? For those who-
Urban Teacher Residency Retention Program. I was almost there. So Miss Hall completed that. She completed her endorsement in emotional impairment and became a fully licensed teacher. I believe it was in February. So got to give her props for working hard.
So much, Dr. Burnett. We're so super proud of our teachers for just advancing and especially, I would also say like, especially there's been a huge need for support in the area of autism. So I'm just super excited about both really stepping up in that way. And Miss Hardaway is like a rock star. We're so lucky to have them both. And I'll turn it over to Director Nichols.
Thank you. So with Student Support Services, we are working because we're trying to do more with our family community engagement. So we want to make sure we're communicating more with our families.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Thank you. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. We're doing more with our family community engagement. So more communication, pushing things out about our building. So each of our building principals, they have been submitting and putting together their student parent handbooks. So it's going to be specific for each of their buildings, the policies, procedures. So our families would know what is expected in each of the buildings, along with our student code of conduct as well. The other thing is our attendance manual. This past year we had our attendance campaign. We're going to be continuing that, but this year we're putting together a manual so we can be able to follow, just to make sure we're keep pushing that forward this coming school year. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Director Nichols and Director Kupch, Teaching and Learning.
We have proposed replacing Centric and Edgenuity with a single platform called Subject. There is a board report that is attached with information about Subject, a link for a demo account to try it out, as well as kind of a side-by-side comparison for Edgenuity versus Subject and Centric versus Subject. There's also a cost comparison and some additional information there. And I brought Greg from Subject tonight, and I believe he brought a colleague as well. And they are going to give a presentation and then be able to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much.
Where do you see this at?
So while they're preparing, I would just like to give kudos to the district because when the agenda was presented and I was reviewing it, one of my questions was, we need to know the difference between what you're suggesting and what we had previously. What are we getting that we didn't have? What's the difference in cost? And then when I actually clicked the link, you already had it. So great job for knowing your board and ensuring that we had this handy because this was really helpful for me. So you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hello, good to be here. Good evening. Nice to meet you. I'm Greg. I'm the partnership manager from Subject. This is my colleague, John Faklitis. He's the director of technology, sales enablement, implementation, and everything on the tech side. And I definitely want to give you guys a brief overview of Subject. I know you might have many questions, so I'll try to keep this as brief as possible, but I'm so excited to be here. I've been working alongside your administration for quite some time now in the evaluation of the online curriculum. If you don't know what Subject is, I'll kind of start by saying, you know, we're an online curriculum provider. We're an accredited platform. We're accredited by NCAA, College Board, WASC, Cognia. And the big difference of Subject and when we came to the market was we just realized that there was such a big gap in online education, right? So we realized that a lot of these platforms haven't been updated in 15, 20 years. And we're putting our kids on this platform and it's very hard for them to engage. And there's tons of academic integrity issues. For example, like Netflix has been around, the streaming platform, for 20 years. Instagram has been around for 15 years now. TikTok has now been around for 10 years. So these students, these Gen Z, Gen Alpha kids, these digital natives, they demand a different level of cinematography and videography. We have to meet them where they are today. And I'm talking about short form, high-end cinematography content like we've invested tons and tons of dollars in to make sure that we're delivering the highest quality videos for your students, meeting them where they are today, what they're using outside the classroom and in the classroom. And I'm going to hammer home today what we're trying to solve, which is the engagement problem and really the academic integrity problem. So I will show you just a quick trailer, and the trailer is going to be very short, I'll play like 30 seconds of it. And the reason why I want to show you it is just so you can really understand the vision of what Subject is trying to achieve here, because I want everybody to be excited about what we're doing. And I'll show you just a quick clip, and then we'll kind of go from there, and then pass it off to John. So let me play about 20 seconds of this.
Land, what you eat, the medicine you take, and even the language you speak. It's a lot like it's created nothing. Look it up and let's embark and just excitement. Let's get it. Students often say they're not good at math. You just haven't been taught math in this way before. Learning a language takes dedication, but it is so.
All right, so hopefully you guys want to jump in and take a class and that excited you. You know, it is just a trailer, and I just, again, wanted to show you that so you can really get an idea of what the videos look like. So these are our 4 use cases that we have, and this is really important to go over because one of the big things we're going to be doing at Benton Harbor, we're going to attempt to do, is consolidate your vendor spend. Right now, you guys have 2 different platforms you guys are using. So we're going to be a one-stop shop for your online curriculum needs. That means we can handle all original credit, credit recovery, teacher of record. So we have certified Michigan teachers that are going to be that within each subject. So all the classes that we have certified teachers for, as well as multilingual solutions. So those are the big 4 use cases that we have. And again, the goal is to be a one-stop shop for everything that you guys do in the classroom. I want to hammer home again why we're different. Why look at Subject? Why switch to Subject? Why are districts from all over switching to Subject? And again, we're really focusing on this Gen Z, Gen Alpha digital native student, right? We are obsessed with that to make sure that we are providing the most engaging curriculum possible for these kids. Accessibility and accommodations, we want to make sure that everything that you see on our platform is accessible and you can easily alter and accommodate to the student's needs. So if any student has any sort of learning difference or anything like that, and you want to shorten answer banks, you want to have read aloud features or text to speech, you can highlight different text. It can be read in a different lexile. We've invested a ton in AI technology so we can make sure that all of this is accessible for these kids and it can be done on a 24/7 basis. Flexibility without compromise. This is all about, again, consolidating your vendor spend to make sure that we are a one-stop shop solution for your district. And most importantly is the turnkey partner support. We are partner and district obsessed. We are available around the clock 24/7. You have a dedicated team that's going to be in charge of any sort of implementation, ongoing PD, unlimited training to make sure that your teachers and your staff are extremely comfortable using subject at all times. The last thing here that I want to talk about before passing it on to John is really hammering home this academic integrity, right? So when it comes to online platforms today, it's really filled with a bunch of quizzes, and we've really termed the problem click for credit, where a student can effectively log on and truly click through a class and pass a whole semester in 24 hours. Not possible, right? Can't be done. It's hurting our students. So we are embedding a lot of authentic assignments. Think virtual labs, think drag and drops, voice recording, video submissions, anything that we can do to really engage these students in a whole different way. You will be shocked by just a little bit of a makeover, what that can do for your students. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to John. That's going to talk high level about our student rostering and implementation features, and take it from there.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here tonight. It's a pleasure. Just a little side note, I worked for Imagine Learning for 18 years. I was employee number 35, so I know a little bit about contrasting and comparing our products. As Greg mentioned, I just want to hit on it really quick. The academic integrity piece is key. We've really put a lot of effort into that. So the way our stuff is designed is to force kids to critically think and demonstrate mastery, not guess A, B, or C. You won't find that in any other product on the market. Another thing that we do that's different than the other guys that are on the market, we have focused a huge amount of energy on making our platform administration free. Now, if you're using Edgenuity, if you're using Edmentum, Apex, your teachers are working extra hard just to support that platform. They're doing the grading, they're checking on the students, they're doing all kinds of things instead of actually engaging with the student. We know there's not a platform on the market that is not as good as the magic that happens when a teacher has time to interact with a student. So our platform is designed to do that. A lot of the ways that we do that is 2 clicks and you're anywhere in our application. Our data reports are consolidated into a Google Looker Studio report that makes it easy to import and export data immediately in real time out of our platform. We have an amazing integrations package, so we could tie directly into your student information system. We get the enrollments, we get the students, we get the teachers. One thing we can do that no one else could do, we could take the grades from a subject and automatically put them back up in your SIS. So now there's not some teacher somewhere that gets a spreadsheet and says, type all these grades in. The beauty of that is it's each individual graded assignment, which, by the way, all assignments are graded by Michigan certified teachers on our end, taking that lift off of your teachers. Your teachers are still the teacher of record. They still can change the grades. They can do that. But what we're trying to do is lighten that load so they can spend the time really engaging with the students. But because those grades are synced every night, individual graded assignments, now your parents can come into your SIS parent portal and see the individual graded assignments. Far too much work to do manually, but we've automated that whole process. So now your parents, stakeholders are connected with the progress of your students as well. Again, we've really thought through everything we can do to lighten that load and bring a really dynamic product into your school. So we really appreciate your time. And I'll turn it back over to Greg.
Yes, thank you, John. Yes, so just to wrap it up, I know that you guys wanted to know about, who is endorsing our platform. We work with, a ton of districts actually across the state of Michigan, but also across the country, right? So we've already provided those contacts and referrals if you want to reach out. But, we work with over 200 districts, 550 schools. And we're rapidly growing. My focus is the state of Michigan. I love this state, and I'm going to continue to work to bring subjects to the kids. And I really do appreciate all your time, and thank you so much.
One other thing that we didn't touch on much, and I'm not sure the relevance in your district, but I just want to use a Michigan district for an example. So as you may or may not know, we have the best multilingual solution on the market. It is hands down the best. You can use the demo account and you can see it. So we're working with districts like Utica and Hazel Park. We have a huge Arabic population. They've been using our product now for about a year and a half, and we're seeing those Arabic students on par or surpassing the traditional English students simply because we removed the language barrier. So it's just another place where you can see where we've sort of leapt ahead of the industry and really tried to solve this problem of student engagement. We really do appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions? Thank you so much for your presentation. Any questions from the board?
I do have a question. Thank you. You said that first of all, this is great. I'm excited about it. And of course, I already asked for endorsements from other people who would be interacting with this. And I see that Director Kupch has a list of team members who have already given the thumbs up on it. So it's not just me or us. My question is about the critically thinking and the integrity of the program. How is it, that your program allows or encourages students to show that they are critically thinking before they answer a question, or like, how are you able to prove that outside of like, typically there's multiple choice or a paragraph and all
Right.
that? Like, how is
So-
yours different?
Yeah, so what we do different is there's a whole list of things. First of all, we review our product all the time. So you're not going to find any answers to subject out in Quizlet or Brainly. Because we're less than 40% multiple choice. So everything else is short form essay, drag and drops, interactives. Our ASL course is visual responses. We have audio responses. These are things that students can't typically go, just Google and find the answer to. And what I've seen across the country, and I travel everywhere, where we replace Edgenuity, Admentum, those products, is that students really don't like our product when they first start because they actually have to think and do. But let me tell you something. You will see a change in your students after they get through the first few things and see they actually can do things, they can actually accomplish. I believe pride is important in education. And we are, we try to be as positive as possible we can on our platform so that students are encouraged. We have a 24-hour homework helper. We have an AI tool they can use that never gives them the answers and they can't get Giants tickets on it or anything like that. But the AI part of their help is tied into their performance. So say a student is struggling in algebra, but they've been on our platform for a while. Our system knows they're weak in fractions. So when they ask for help on that algebra problem, it's going to give that help based on, I know you're weak on this topic. Again, that pride thing, you see kids like suddenly start owning their education and start moving forward because you're not insulting them with talking head HR videos and multiple choice questions. So that's how we solve that problem.
So the tool is able to identify their area of need, like the area,
Yes.
the skill that they need to master, and it meets them
Right.
where
It's
they
always
are.
tracking them as they work through the platform. So it's not tied to the internet. It's encapsulated in our platform. So the longer they work in there, the more it knows. Now we have a teacher AI tool that tells them everything they need to know about their students, including, hey, why is Johnny struggling in math? it tells them why, and here's a lesson you can give them to help. So this is where we're at as a platform. That's why I think you will be blown away with the results you see with your students.
So your platform, it has a teacher on record through the platform, and you're also able to support the like a physical teacher
So
that may
yeah, we
be
have two
working.
models of licensing.
Mhm.
So you're the teacher of record. We still have those course facilitators, Michigan certified teachers doing the gradings, giving feedback to the students. You get the certified teachers in the homework help section. They're there 12 hours a day, and then it's AI based the rest of the time. The students are never left alone. That's another place. You think about it, these kids work at like 2 a.m. They get stuck. Who are they going to ask for help? We've always got support there for them, so they don't check out.
Thank you so much.
And they
for
can
the-
always ask their regular teacher too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make this statement because people hear AI and they start
Yeah.
worrying about stuff. Subject is absolutely useless without a good teacher.
Yes.
And we are the first ones to say that. That's why, again, I told you about the design of our platform. That magic happens when the teacher's got time to sit down with that student and say, how can I help you? And that's really what we're all about, is giving the teacher the sort of information about that student and how can I best help this student?
Yes, trustee Raquel Martin.
My question, and if the student goes in and finds out, hey, I kind of understand this, I know this, I'm able to do a certain amount of this work, and can I move on without
Yes.
having to go through the whole entire?
Yeah, so we have two versions of every course. We have the full credit version. We have the credit recovery version. What the credit recovery version does is each topic, not the whole course, each topic is gated with a diagnostic test designed to sort of find what they know and what they don't know. The district sets the threshold by which that student can pass that diagnostic. If they do, they move on to the next one. If they don't, the topic opens up and they take the work. So we give them, there again, students sometimes they just goof off for like most of the school year, and then they get that last couple of weeks and they didn't quite pass. No sense making them take stuff they already know. Let's learn the stuff that we don't know and move on.
Yeah, thank you.
I see, President Robinson and then Secretary Triplett.
Okay, so I have one super quick question. What is the anticipated turnaround time for our educators to be trained
Love that question.
on this?
So if you look at the legacy platforms, they want you to schedule PD that you actually pay for, and they want you to pull all your teachers out and get substitutes. Our platform was designed, again, to be intuitive. Our trainings take less than an hour. We pay for the PD, you don't, and we will work around your teacher's schedule. So if that means our CS people come here to do training, they can go school to school during break times, whenever it takes. Again, the beautiful thing about Subject is when you get an invoice from us, there's one line item, one price covers everything, the integrations, the full course catalog. We don't have any add-ons, nothing we're going to sneak up on you later.
Yeah, and the trainings are unlimited throughout the year. So we will work with you. And also we will make sure before we go live to set up any sort of integrations or anything that you need with your SIS system or single sign-on system to make sure that we're ready to go live on August 25th.
Okay, and then second question, what is the same for our students? Do they have a learning opportunity because they are now acclimated with the different programs?
Yes. Again, think TikTok, think all those things they do, Snapchat. Our product is designed to work like those so they learn really quickly. We do have a welcome to subject video that they can watch before they start, but it's really very simplistic on what they need to do. And there's not really a formal training for it.
Okay, and then the last thing I have is just an observation that I didn't notice originally. I'm not sure which part of it's on the virtual learning platform comparison document. In the written, in one set of the tables for Centric, it has the amount noted as $380,000. But then on the box on the second page, it says 390. I'm not sure which is inaccurate, but if the amount is 380 as indicated in the upper text, then the actual savings wouldn't be 33,375. It would be 23,375. I'm not sure which of these numbers. Dr. Cush, you following me? I'm not sure which number is correct, but if we could just get that clarified.
If you look at the chart that has the cost comparison just without all of the text, I gave the price per student because currently we only have 75 licenses for Centric, but we asked for a quote for 100 with subject because we wanted to have room for growth for more enrollment, and the price is less for subject. So in the end, when you compare the price for 75 teacher of record licenses with subject, it's less expensive, but when you add the additional 25 in, it becomes approximately equal in price. So
Right.
that's why there's discrepancies in the two charts, because one in the above chart, it's giving the total for 100 students, whereas Centric is giving a total for 75 students.
Gotcha.
I
What-
tried to make it less confusing in the second chart. I just didn't want to give not accurate information.
So what's the bottom line?
The bottom line is $416,625, which is a better platform that syncs with PowerSchool, that is more engaging for our students, has better opportunities for our English language learners, is less per student, has better help for students with the AI tool while they're working, especially being in an asynchronous sort of environment. It's more 21st century than Edgenuity, and I think it's probably competitive with Centric. Honestly, the PowerSchool part really shoves it over the edge. A huge problem that was reported from parents at Cape and even the staff at Cape is that with Centric, the way that they're assessing student learning is with strands. And Centric has a very difficult time turning those strands into a grade that can be understood by students and parents incrementally throughout the grading term. So there was never an actual PowerSchool grade until an estimated grade at the end of first semester and then the actual grade at the end of second semester. But with subject, with both the asynchronous credit recovery and with the synchronous teacher of record live teacher classes, we can give the same kind of grade update that we do with a teacher in a brick and mortar building. And that will help students better understand where they are, parents better understand where they are, and all of us better understand where they are so that we know what appropriate interventions to give. I think the strands are fantastic that Centric's doing. It's just difficult translating that to a more traditional model that everybody understands.
Okay, I still don't understand the reason why the numbers are different in one section than the bottom, but I'll ask you offline.
Yeah, I'll look at it more closely so that I can give a better answer.
Because it just looks like a yeah, I'll ask offline. Okay,
Like, Secretary Triplett had a question.
So, first of all, thank you all for coming. I was looking at, some of your school districts. That you had on here that I guess recommended you and they're using. So those districts that you put up here were districts that you guys have contracts with right now?
Yeah, that was just a few of the Michigan ones that we had. But yeah, those were the ones in Michigan.
Okay, so when you talk about there are two aspects of it, those that are taking the actual course, and then those that are doing course recovery. Okay, there are two different, what would you call that? Two use cases. So you can have students that are taking these classes, they might want to take a government class. And they're seniors, they want to take that class, depending on what's happening with their counselors or what have you, they can actually take that class online. So I hear people saying that there are actual teachers there. So you have physical teachers?
Teachers behind the scenes during the grade. That's the standard model. The teacher record model, we have a certified teacher that's gonna be doing like office hours.
Yeah, we've mirrored what you guys are pretty much doing with Centric currently. So we'll have a project-based learning model where we actually have certified teachers on our end that are teaching the subject. So that is live. And then we also have we have virtual learning labs that are going to be happening twice a week for your kids, right? So the difference is you have a project-based learning session within the subject. And then in addition to that, you're going to have learning labs. So if these kids are struggling in certain topics or anything like that, these are live sessions with a teacher that they can work with to make sure that they're understanding and working, at the pace that you want them to.
And so with the course recovery, those students have already had the quote unquote seat time. They may have failed that class, but they've had the seat time.
Right.
So now when you go through, like you said, they don't miss, how do you all identify what areas that they need to actually recover or do? Is that you already give them a pretest?
Talking to Mike, please, in the microphone. Please.
Laid out. Mike, I'm not loud enough, really? First time anyone said that. So if you look at the credit recovery course, so our courses are broken into 15 topics. So each topic is gated by a diagnostic test, which is 10 questions that just test on a very narrow band of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And so the district would set the threshold out of the box. It's like 80%. I'd recommend 90%, 80%, depends on your students. And if they pass that, they go on to the next diagnostic. If they don't, they take that work. So that gives us a granular way to figure out what they know. So they're not taking stuff they already know, but we also figure out what they don't know as well as they should so that they, get graded. So
why would you recommend 90 when what is proficiency? Is 70 proficiency? Why would you recommend 90 versus 70 in those segments?
That's just my personal recommendation. There's no science behind it, but I just feel like if you're going to give them the opportunity to test out, I would rather be really sure they know that topic. But again, there's different use cases for that. Sometimes districts might want to get kids through and just get them, like, sometimes kids are like, I'm not going to graduate. I need to take this class, and we want to make them get through.
No, but I guess my thought was simply this: what is classified as being proficient? If 75% proficient,
well, 70%, I think
proficient.
Most districts or most states would agree is proficient.
Yes, a
so
C.
That's all you're going for.
Yep, it's not about what we're going for. It's about mastery. If our students can be successful, when you look at the grade C, when a student is issued a grade of C, that means that student is doing what is expected of them in that class at that particular grade level. So we don't want to push it where they just bound to fail if they are proficient. And that's just my thought.
No, I agree.
I was
And
thinking about
that's why we have the adjustment, because every district looks at that a little differently. So you said it how you feel like you feel.
Yeah, a C is when a student receives a C. That means that when they receive a C, that means that they have accomplished what is expected of them in that particular subject area. A B means they've gone above and beyond, and an A means quote unquote superior.
Right.
So I just, when you said 90, it kind of shook me up a little bit. It's not about lowering standards, but it's about the purpose, the reason that we want them to recover the course. They've shown that they have enough knowledge to go on to the next section.
Right.
My thought.
Yeah, totally. And you're totally right. So that is going to be set up prior to your students going live to make sure that is set up correctly. In addition, we are tracking everything. So we are having a whole looker studio, meaning we are tracking how long the student is taking the class, how are they doing, what direction are they trending, so you can intervene when necessary as well. So that's a huge part and a huge value add that we're incorporating within the platform to make sure that we are achieving the best student outcomes.
One more last question. Once you see that they're not on there, they're not spending the time, who do you all alert? As far as do you alert the actual teacher a record?
Yeah,
for that particular subject.
So during the the training, we have a training before the training where we decide all the district protocols, who gets what, who gets notified. So that's all set up ahead of time based on district needs. We have the ability also to email progress reports to parents and stakeholders once a week, so they get alerted. You have the real-time grade updates happening in Power School, so your Power School parent portal is always going to be updated. We have numerous ways to do it. The teacher dashboard, obviously, you didn't go into a full demo tonight, but the teacher dashboard is very concise, and when the teacher logs in, they're always going to know which students need support. Need support might be they're stuck, might be they haven't logged on in 2 weeks or whatever. So they're always notified. We try to make a big deal about making sure teachers are always aware where they're needed first.
I want to thank you so much for your time. I know that we are probably at time for our committee. Really great questions. Hopefully, if board members have extra questions, they're able to connect. But are we supposed to vote tonight or at the next board meeting, Director Kupch?
Due to the financial situation with the federal government, RAG has not given the prior approval as of Friday. And either our Barry and Risa contact or MDE contact has been on vacation intermittent over the last couple of weeks. So we wanted to make sure that the Board of Education understood subject and the benefits. And as soon as we can get a green light on funding from the federal government, we'll be able to put that board report back on the agenda.
Okay, well, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Can we
Thank
give
you.
them a hand? Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Director Kupch, for fielding all of those questions and making sure that we had some visual information up front. I think this is a really good way whenever we are asked to make, these major financial decisions like that, changing platforms. I think it's important to have something like this in place. And then we have a public comment for if there's someone in the public who wants to speak on a curriculum, instruction, student support services topic. Okay, I'll turn it over to you, President Robinson.
Thank you very much, Chair Gavin, and I would like to say thank you to you and Trustee Rocket Martin for ensuring that the curriculum committee does have those meetings prior to us coming to the board table. I was not present in the most recent, so I thank you all for the work that you all do on behalf of our committee. And now we will pull it over to Facilities and Finance Operation Committee. In the absence of Chair Bradley, I would ask that Secretary Triplett lead us in that committee work session.
Madam President, and to my colleagues on the Board of Education, I did get an opportunity to attend one of the meetings. There was an additional meeting that I was unable to attend based on the time of the day in which it was and the date that it was called. However, I'll have Director Dash to go through some of these things with the updates on the gym roof, the high school track, the meeting with Ben Charter Township and St. Joseph Township, and the finance reports. I guess that we'll turn that over to, we'll go from there with Director Brock Carter. So we'll just go with Director Dash can give us information and you all can ask questions because I certainly have some.
And I would just like to note for the record that Superintendent Dr. Simone Griffin has entered the building in her orange and black. Let the record show. All right, so go ahead, Director Dash, and then I'm gonna take a quick recess just myself, but I'll be back before we get through that particular report.
Okay, today we weren't able to have a committee meeting, but I put on the
I
agenda.
can't hear you, Director Dash. Can you speak more into your mic?
All right, I will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So today we weren't able to really have a committee meeting, but we did put some things on the agenda for tonight. Some of them are a little different than the last time that Trustee Bradley was running the facilities report. So the gym roof is now done. We received a 25-year warranty on workmanship and material for that roof. So barring a big branch falling down, just laying on the roof, we're pretty good. Yearly inspections by the installer for 25 years. So every year they're going to be showing up, walking that roof, checking the drains themselves and going over every seam and making sure that their workmanship is standing up. I had assessments done on the rest of the high school roof. I had a couple guys go across all 21 sections of roofing on this one building. And I'm awaiting that report, and as soon as I get it, you guys will have it. But the next roof to be considered is over the band room, because students are in there all the time, and that one is, according to the people that were doing the assessment, they said this one needs immediate attention. The insulation underneath is soaked.
So we did discuss, I remember us discussing that, as it relates to, the gym roof, the roof over the gymnasium, when we talked about it, being flat, and you said it wasn't.
Yep, there's a little pitch to it.
Yeah, a mix to it. So the question and what we discussed, maybe you could share this with the board, what is our maintenance team prepared to do along the way as far as maintenance is concerned? So we can't just wait for 1 year for them to come, because they're gonna come back in a year. Because some of the things that happen where the drain is falling, where it's raining and water coming into the Performing Arts Center.
Mhm.
And we did say that is a priority that
Yeah.
we need to be looking at. And some of that had to do with the simple fact that drains were not cleared, they weren't clean, and like for long lengths of time.
Mhm.
And so that created the flooding and things that we've experienced.
Oh, yeah.
So our maintenance team, are they prepared, and do they have the information from the vendor of what it is that they should be looking for so that they can check it on a regular basis?
Well, since the last time, I actually went up on the roof with the guys, and they loved the whole thing. It was super hot and real bright, and we went up there and we cleaned a bunch of drains, checked the baskets. I guess that's what they're called. They kind of sit over the drain hole. We checked all those, made sure they're secure. If they weren't, we put them in place and secured them. That's supposed to keep large things from going down the drain and blocking it down in the drain. But yeah, we went up there and we talked about how we're going to move forward with this, what that's gonna look like, and we were all up there together and physically did the work. And we also identified some real interesting things that within the department, we're going to look at ourselves. Some areas where there's leakage is actually not the roof. It's the what do they call it? There's a name for it, and I can't remember it right now. But if you know it, don't make fun of me. It's the stone at the top of the roof along the edge of the building. The mortar is missing between that. So the rain comes down and it goes between those mortar joints where there should be mortar, but there isn't. And then it gets behind the material for the roof. So while we're up there, we're looking at that and we're like, man, I bet this is it. So we're gonna start going up there with little tubes of mortar, and we're gonna start sealing those. Particularly, the third floor is got a big issue with that. So that's something that we noticed up there on our own during that inspection, because we talked about that whole thing. But yeah, we got a plan moving forward.
I mean, that's you just keep on moving down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. High school track. We all know what happened to the track the other day. It was fine. The track's fine. They fixed it. It looks good. Our fence is gonna be fixed too. But anyway, so the track is on schedule. The striping is approved by the track coach. I sent it right to him and said, Coach Gillespie, anything you want to change? He actually looked at it. He made some little adjustments. Everything's good. It's gonna be right to his specifications.
Question: how did Coach Gillespie make changes? Then we already had the draft. When you say changes, what kind of changes did Coach Gillespie make?
Just where some starting lines were, or not like starting lines, where event lines are. I think that's what it is. I don't know. You'd have to talk to him about it. but he was able to, I don't do track. He was able to, I got him in contact with the contractor. Everything's good. Yeah.
So did you talk to the athletic director?
I do.
That was
He
adjustment.
he was involved with the whole thing.
And
He was in the email.
he referred you to Coach Gillespie?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Everything's good. Yep. The running surface has been installed. The striping starts next week. And the fence repair and the cleanup of the job site are just the last two things for job completion with as far as that contractor is involved. The gym floor. I spoke to the contractor today. Everything is moving forward. Between them and the insurance agency, the start date is still, as of today, remains the first week of August. So that's what I have for that so far.
So I don't see the gym floor on here.
I think you might be looking at a different one.
When I see the gym roof, the high school track, I don't see the gym floor. But so with the gym floor, the last time we met, and you were saying that they were having you were having difficulties getting in contact with the representative from that company. And what happened when I went in there and walked in on the gym floor, it looked like it's lumpy.
Oh, it is, yeah.
And the thing that's disheartening for me and very concerning for me, in all sincerity, is that they have first of all, that was a brand new floor. We have $1 million worth of insurance. I mean, we have the insurance, and then there were things that they had to guarantee, the things that they needed to do, and they still have not come in there yet. And the longer they stay out, the worse it gets. Because I can see the difference from the end of the basketball season to last week.
Yes. Oh, within that time, for the last time that you and I met, I spoke with the insurance. They approved everything. They are now in contact with the contractor. Everything is moving right along.
Cool.
Everything's good. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the athletic director and the contractor are in direct contact at all times. Like I want him to be able to be involved in the whole thing. You know.
So, just another question too. If you're saying they're coming in August the 1st, will this interrupt the opening of school, gym usage, fall opening? Have any of that been discussed? How would that look?
I asked the contractor about that, and then he said no. Since it's not my first rodeo, I called the installer, the person that does the work, and he agreed. He said he thinks that they're going to be done in time. He thinks everything's going to be good. So I got it from the company itself and the guy that's doing the work, the actual physical work that will be there.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions about anything as it relates to facilities?
Thank you. I was just wondering if it's possible to get an update on our HVAC system for the high school boiler system.
The boiler system right now, the phase that they're in right now, they're working heavily on the wiring. This week we've been experiencing a little bit of rolling outages within the building as they're disconnecting stuff and putting in the new wires and then attaching it to the new system. The boilers themselves are installed. They're basically ready to roll, and they will be functional come heating season. There's no question on that. Right now it's just down to the electricians and getting their stuff done, but everything's moving along just fine.
And you don't have to answer this now, but I would like some type of report just in terms of I don't know what it's called, but just how they regulate the system in the rooms. Unless you already know, do they have
we all already know
a system to make sure that there's
It's-
regulation to make sure it's not overheating in the room?
the heat registers in all the rooms are going to be the same as what it was, just like what the contractor, or not the contractor, the C2AE, the engineering company came in and they stated the same thing. Some rooms are going to be warmer, some rooms are going to be decent. I have talked to these contractors, Andy Egan, myself, and our plan is to go into, identify the rooms that are really hot and then go in there and fix that, like as soon as possible. So that's what we got going on.
Okay, so what I would say is, one, I think it's important for us to have a lawyer get eyes on that contract to make sure we're getting everything we're supposed to get. And then two, if we can find out what it would take to make sure that the heat can be regulated in the rooms so that they're not overheated. So they're not burning up and we're wasting energy. So I don't know what it would take in order for, is it possible for that to be a priority or?
That has to be a priority because we did discuss this and before our previous superintendent left and when they came, we talked about that contract. There is no way that we would have gone into that contract, that there was some promises that was made that they would be able to control these heat and dials as much as we paid and the long period of time that it has taken us. We knew that it would be like 18 months. And that was a major issue. So as Trustee Gavin stated, they're saying that they did not say that, but we should have a contract that specifically says what it is. And we also have on record from board meeting when they presented. We should have those records when they came and presented to us as a committee and what they presented here. Because the amount of millions that we paid for this to happen, they should be able to control that heat and stuff in their room. We should not still be having the same issues that we had where one section of this building just burns to 1,000. And then another one, I mean, I know when they got in there, once they got in there, because it was so old, hundreds of years done, and they found some other things we added. We voted as a board to say, yes, we'll move forward with that because we wanted to make sure that it was done. So, Trustee Gavin, that is something that we'll be able to talk with. I can get more with Director Dash on that so we can give the board a better understanding of where we are.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll go through the previous director's stuff from when he started this project and I'll get the information over to Dr. Burnick.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
I have a quick question. As far as the individual registers, I know I'm not on facility, so, and I missed the presentation where they came and discussed it with the board and gave us an update. So I can't say that I've ever tangibly seen that written in the language or presented to me. But I know that Dr. Buss has told us that. And so there could be some language in the contract that maybe was misinterpreted, or I don't really know, but I agree with the board that we want to have the clarity on how we as a board and as in our leadership interpreted us receiving something differently than what was contractually obligated. And then the follow-up to that is, if that is not included in the contract at this particular time, is it not feasible for us to have that, or is that an additional cost to the district? And the third question that I have is, I want to understand what you mean by some classrooms will be decent. And then for those that are, and I'm not sure if that decent is cooler than we would want or hotter than we would expect, want that. And whether or not if it's cooler than we would want, does the district have the ability to have individual heaters that are available to classrooms that are a little bit cooler than we want? So not sure if the decent is hotter or colder.
Cooler. So for instance, example here, this is, don't think that this is fact. I don't remember the room numbers, but I can tell you that I've been in the rooms and they felt like they were gonna combust sometimes. So room 235, example, you'd walk in there and it would be like 90 degrees. You'd go down the hall 2 classrooms and go in and it'd be like a cool 73, 74, like that. Which was weird because it was the same hallway. But yeah, that's what I meant by some are decent.
Okay.
Some are pretty bad. And the goal is to find those rooms that get out of control and get some sort of a plan, some sort of plan of action to get those to be able to be regulated better or regulated at all. But that's up to the contractor as well, but I will be helping him find these rooms.
Okay, and then are we able to have individual like heaters that you can move in the event that rooms are cooler, or is there a fire code violation with something like that in the school district?
Fire code violation.
Okay,
Yeah, we, in the past, we had, those small heaters. The fire chief and the inspector came in, they said, you can't have
Yeah.
that. And our electrical system honestly just can't handle all that.
understood. I don't want to be on Casimir's bad side. I've been
Yeah.
doing a great job staying over here. Okay, the last question that I have for you is inevitably, if we find that and this is more so an ask, and it would be up to you all to decide based on the capacity that our buildings have. If inevitably we determine that there is a particular classroom that is cooler than we would desire and we can't regulate it, then I would ask that we consider closing that classroom as a teaching room and move the students to a classroom that has a better environment. Because we have an overwhelming amount of space, specifically here in the high school, which I know is one of the areas that we have difficulty. And so if we have classrooms we're not using, maybe we would be able to adjust accordingly. But you all know whether that's feasible better than I do because I'm not in there doing structural learning. So just consider it. You don't have to answer now. That was just a suggestion.
Madam President.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and for me, I just want this to be on the record. For me, when we went all out and we asked them specifically what was needed to do this work, I'm very concerned that we are still now, millions of dollars later, talking about can we pull in heaters? Talking about do we need to close down classrooms? And so, and this is no hit on anybody, but it is a hit. Where one thing, people come in and make these promises. The board sit here. We had a very contentious time. It affected our Board of Education, our interaction with one another at that particular time. So we were making sure we wanted to guarantee that when these kids come back to school in the winter, we were aware that it was going to be an 18-month-long process, and what's been happening all along the way in this 18-month process of it being completed. So we're not quite done with that yet. So we're going to have some conversations with them and get this stuff taken care of, because with that type of money, when they come in this building, they should be all right. They should not be overwhelmed when it's hot, and they should not be freezing when it's cold. Because of those issues, we lost hundreds of students, whether people want to accept it or not. We lost several students from the school district, and these are the things that we just have to polish up on and make sure that are in place for all of us. And so I appreciate your interaction with those contractors. I just need you to get on top of them, make sure that they are doing what they said they were going to do for our district as our director of facilities. I appreciate that. I think we've done the gym roof, done the track, and we've done the gym floor. One more question, and before we close, I'm not quite sure we'll have a meeting prior to this. How are we looking as we're preparing the building for the opening of school? Painting, cleaning, do we have that schedule? Also, you don't have to give it to us tonight because this is just a work session, but do we have that available? Do everybody know what they're doing?
I don't have it on paper. It's like on a whiteboard, but yeah, the high school is already under interaction, or yeah. So if you go into the cafeteria, that was started. That's moving forward. We're painting down the teen center. Coach McGinnis has gotten a hold of us, and he's brought up some concerns because the teen center has not been touched in a long time. So today my guys were down there and they finished up painting one of the hallways down there, and we changed out all the lights down there that we could get going. We're rewiring or replacing any lights that don't work. There's a lot of stuff going on.
That's great.
Over. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, the elementary schools, other than MLK, so DC, Fairplain East, those are done. Well, as far as the floors and any touch-up paint That's not true. Fairplain East, there's some painting going on still today. I know there is. I was just there. So that one's not done, but it will be. Everything's on track.
So if you, I think it would be good to bring to the Board of Education, if you can, plan of action so that on day one, even when our teachers come in on day one, that each one of the buildings, DEC, MLK, Fairplain East, Fairplain Middle School, and Ben Harbor High School is ready to receive our students.
Yes. Have you noticed that some of the buildings, the parking lots have been resealed?
Yes, so I mean,
Yeah.
just a plan of action
Yeah.
to let us know so we can present to the board. We can
Yeah.
meet, you know.
We're working on not just interior upgrades, but also exterior just for curb appeal.
Okay,
You know, make it look nice as soon as you get out.
thank you.
Pull up there, it'd be great.
So do you have anything else? Anybody else have any?
I will get you
questions?
guys that list. I'll write it down on paper and type it out. I'll be good.
I don't mean to go backwards, but I would just ask, can the board have an update on the next meeting on the contract interpretation from the attorneys?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I said that earlier, but
Okay.
I even wrote it down too. I'll make sure to get that over.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
No problem. That'll be done first thing tomorrow.
Trustee Doyle.
I got a question about the.
Can't hear this.
I have a question about the pool. Have we looked into that, or is that too much to add on at this point?
I'm not gonna say it's too much to add on. Right now I'm just kind of focused on making sure day one, we're in great shape. The pool, I'm definitely, like, if you guys want me to look into that 100%, it doesn't bother me at all. I can definitely do it. Yeah. I just have not done it yet. Yeah.
Okay, so that basically finishes our report to my colleagues, and I think it's important that when we have these meetings, committee meetings and what have you, we bring it back to the colleagues for review. And if you have any other questions, you can get in touch with Chairman Bradley, myself, on concerns that we just weren't able to discuss at this particular time. And at this time, for the finance component of it, Director Brock Carter will be going through to give you all information along the way as it relates to the finances and what have you. And Director Brock Carter, you remember the question that I asked you, and I wanted it to be made clear that we are not $8 million in debt. We have not lost one dime of the $24 million. I think that needs to be cleared because we did talk about it in HR too, just going back and going through the plan. And you understood what I was saying in our meeting and our discussions and what have you. So can you please, lead off and handle that the way in which you handle that?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Okay, and then before you get started, just for the board, it's 7:49. My goal was I told the staff we would be leaving by 8 o'clock. So if we could try to get out of here no later than maybe 8:15, which I think is extremely feasible, I will be very happy. So you have the floor.
Trustee Gavin had her hand up.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
just saying, President Robinson, the way that we were setting it up was because it was committees. I think those committees would be dismissed once their section.
They can, and that's fine. Definitely the directors, yes. They're more than welcome to leave if their section has been completed.
Unless they maybe interact with each other.
So what we just discussed is once you all complete your section and there's nothing else on the agenda that we need you for, you are able to be dismissed if you would like to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, they've indicated they'd like to stay here with their superintendent. All right now. Okay, all right, you have the floor, Blackheart.
Thank you, President Robinson. We are going to discuss the June 2025 financial report for Benton Harbor area schools. So this is not related to the 25-26 budget that we discussed previously. This is 24-25. June was still a part of last year. So this information is the June 2025 monthly report. So there will be no discussion of any type of deficits today. But just based on where we're at right now with the 2024-25 school year and getting our financials together, we are at about 90% of revenue and about 93% of expenses, and we should be at 100% at the end of June. So we're doing pretty good with not exceeding our budget as far as expenses are concerned so far. Again, this is the fund accounting that we are day-to-day processing here at the district. Our audit is coming up on the 18th of August. So then we'll have our actual fiscal year picture. Once our auditors make those adjusting entries that they need to make in order to make our books final. So just keep that in mind that these numbers may change after the audit. Sorry, my screen locked. Okay, just some pointers for June 2025. Our year-to-date revenues were down compared to last year in June, just because our federal revenue is down due to not having ESSER funds that we had for last school year. So our revenues were down compared to June of last year. And our expenses were actually lower compared to June of last year as well. We spent a little bit more on purchase services of this year, but less in all other categories. So our expenses were down along with our revenue for June of 2025. Some of the large payments that went out in June, teacher created materials, $57,424.26. That was some of our summer camp materials and our summer PD that we purchased from Teachers Creative Materials. Blue Cross Blue Shield, of course, is our health insurance. Andy Egan is the boiler work and other work throughout the district. Andy Egan, they might as well move in. They're always here. If not at the high school, they're at other buildings. So there are ongoing expenses with Andy Egan. CDW government were the amounts that we spent on our Chromebooks for the summer. And is it Tara or Tyra? I always say it wrong. Is our food service company, and should be our last and final payment to Centric Learning if we are going to switch programs. So those were some of the large expenses that we paid out in June of 2025. Our sinking fund expenses did exceed revenue as we budgeted for at the beginning. So that's not anything new. We were expecting our expenses in the sinking fund to outweigh the revenue to the sinking fund. That is to be expected. We budgeted that because we knew all of the work that we were going to be doing on our buildings and our track and our gym floor throughout 24-25. And then in our non-major funds, our revenue did exceed expenses there as well, and that is to be expected. We did know that our food service expenses would exceed the revenue for 24-25, so that was already in our budget. But it kind of didn't happen until May and June, so did the lights just go out? Thank you. So these are all things that we expected to happen in 24-25, and we have a fund balance, so it's okay. Down in our budget to actual summary version, you'll see based on our budget for 24-25, we have received 90% of our revenue. Again, that I know is going to change because we have received some of our revenue for 24-25 in July. So we have to do journal entries and adjust that money back into the last year. So that's why I'm saying that these numbers may change after our audit. That's something that we do in conjunction with our auditors every year. But I know for a fact we have received some of our last year revenue in July. So that will be adjusted once we get our final financial statements. And some of that revenue is the 1.9 million ESSER funds that we were waiting on. We finally did it. So that will help us increase our revenue for 24-25. Hopefully our expenses don't increase, but again, some things could have went to other funds that belong to the general fund. So once we make all of those adjustments, our general fund expenses may increase, but with 1.9 million more in additional federal funds, we should be okay for 24-25. So I am anticipating that we may add to our fund balance at the end of 24-25 to even put us in a better position going into 25-26 with our expected expenses to outweigh our revenue. So it can only help with the changes that may happen after our audit. So the detail of those expenses is on the next slide, has the details for the general fund revenue and expenses. Please let me know if you have any questions. And again, we'll go over this again at the actual next board meeting. So if there's any questions or concerns, you're welcome to email me or give me a call between now and then so we can make sure everything's cleared up. So when we actually vote on the staff report, next board meeting, we'll be ready to go.
Okay, thank you so much. And I would reiterate that I'd ask that everyone do a deep dive into our financials and like she said, email her in advance if you have questions. Our agendas have been a little light in the last month, and so it might be a little we may have some things added in the meantime prior to August. So I just want to make sure that we ask our questions in advance so we don't prolong that meeting.
And can I say one more thing,
You
Madam
sure
President,
can.
before we move on? I did want to make sure that you all had an opportunity to see, we did get our estimated allocations for Title I for 25-26. We're happy to know that we were not impacted as much as we thought. And we are still waiting to hear from the MDE and the federal government concerning Title II, Title III, and Title IV. Those funds are still frozen at this point, but we have received an estimated allocation from MDE for Title I, and that is linked into the agenda.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I believe Director Dash is going to discuss is that Brock Carter or Director Dash is going to discuss the sidewalk rights for MDOT? Or Dr. Burnett?
I'll probably call on you soon, Director Dash. MDOT is putting in sidewalk in front of the skill center. Or in a year, we'll be putting in sidewalk in front of the skill center. They're redoing the road. They have asked to purchase the front of our skills center for $300. Director Dash?
Okay.
They're purchasing the rights to alter the sidewalk, right? Not the
There's
property
no
itself.
sidewalk there. There's
Okay.
currently no sidewalk there. It's down M139 or South Fair Street, depending on what you want to call it. They're changing the roads over there. So they'll no longer be just one way, there'll be two-way roads. By the way, in front of the skills center, they want to put a sidewalk down that side of the road. So they want to purchase a strip big enough to put a sidewalk in from the front of the skills center, and they're offering us $300 for it. We sent it to the lawyers and everything seems to be in place.
Okay, so the only question, I have two questions. The offer to purchase that we've been presented says that it's only as valid as May 16, 2025. So are they gonna provide an adjusted?
Yeah.
Okay, and then because the way that it reads, it says they have an upcoming project on M139. We are interested in acquiring consent to reconstruct sidewalk rights to your property. That doesn't necessarily read to me as if they would own, like, who's gonna own the sidewalk? Benton Harbor Area Schools or MDOT?
MDOT would own the sidewalk. We would
Okay.
be not liable at all for that sidewalk.
Okay.
So, so that's unfair. So you're saying that they're changing fair back to a two-way
Yes.
as it was back in the day?
Mhm.
And they need that, just that strip in front of it. And then with that strip, anything that needs to happen, it later on, it's on them. It's
Yes.
MDOT property.
Yep.
So what would be your recommendation to this Board of Education, since you all have been the one, Dr. Burnick, who have met with them and talked to them?
Yeah, my recommendation would be to proceed with the sidewalk. We have kids that are walking down that street. Director Dash will be able to provide a better description, but when I presented this to legal, it seemed like everything was good, everything was in order, and it would help the community and
Safety.
for
For
sure. We have some kids that could go back and forth there, so.
Yeah, I grew up in that neighborhood. It was dirt road. It was dirt. So that, like, again, like you said, you do have students because you have bus project right there. So I'm quite sure they're doing this all the way down. So did anybody find out they're doing it all the way down across these properties,
Across what properties?
other properties? Okay.
Yes,
just
all the way
not
down
there,
that whole stretch of road.
all the way down Fair,
Yeah, all the way down that whole stretch of road. That's what was presented to
where it
me.
connects on Highland, where I think they might have a sidewalk down there. So I'm quite sure they've done this thing with everybody going
Everybody
Main
on
Street.
that road. Yeah, everybody got the.
And there's a visual of the strip in your binders as well. It's a teeny amount of space comparatively to what we have.
Quick question.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Did legal provide any type of written opinion on this issue?
Yeah. And that's, I can share with you, there was several questions that they asked and, they had the answers provided in there.
Awesome. I'm wondering if we can kind of make it a norm for us, especially when we're entering into contracts. If we can have those legal opinions included, provided to us so that we're clear on the legal stance in addition to the recommendation.
Or if
To the board chair.
Yeah, the chairman of what area that's being affected is involved in the conversation. If nothing else, or a representative from that particular committee is a part of the discussion, so that when they come back to the Board of Education, we're hearing from one of our colleagues who can give us more specifics. So I'm quite sure we'll be asking the same type of questions, if you will, from a board perspective. And we'll be more included. We'll know, in the know, instead of getting it here, you're seeing it. They've had a conversation. Who did you have a conversation with? Who did they meet with from our school district and all of that? Because it's not major. Because when I look at this, it looks like the sidewalk where the blue is, but in the front of it, it's going to be a little lawn piece. And so when they do this, you see this, Madam President, where the sidewalk goes there, but in front going to the street, there's some lawn care right there. That us, is that ours? Is that still our property? The only thing that they're taking care of is the strip. Most definitely. So those are types of questions that we would need some clarification on and have some understanding as to how that looks. Just a recommendation.
And I'm curious as to how much they're offering the other people. I know it's probably none of our business, but I would hope that I would hope they're not being offered more than we are. I don't like being shortchanged, but
They did a pretty comprehensive.
Okay.
And my understanding from legal is that 300 is the minimum. So we didn't even really make the minimum. They bumped it up.
Okay.
So you're saying 300 is the maximum that they're paying up. Nobody's getting any more.
300 is the minimum that they would pay.
The minimum?
So we got the minimum.
We have the minimum.
So I would like to know what has been offered to the other
Yeah, no,
entities.
But wait a minute. If it's the minimum, then we need to go on up. If it's the maximum that they're paying everybody, then that's where they gave us top.
They need the sidewalk.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna call them tomorrow and I'm gonna tell them that, trustee Triplet wants 301 or nothing else.
no. No,
No,
but it would be,
I'll call tomorrow.
it would be $300 is the maximum they're paying anybody. They're not gonna pay anybody over. They're not paying anybody over $300. Is that not correct?
We're not paying anyone under.
I don't know how much they're paying other people, but our sidewalk comparative to other, they did a whole cost analysis. We were under that $300. So the property that they wanted to put the sidewalk on fell under that $300 threshold and they bumped it up to 300.
Oh, they so kind.
That's how kind they were.
Okay.
All right, if there's no other questions, we'll proceed. So up next, we have the Human Resources Committee. There's not an actual update. I know that the Human Resources Committee, though, has met, and there are some staff reports that are here. Primarily with our work sessions, we take votes on the things, like our superintendent contract. That was something that we had a deadline. Dr. Burnick is wondering if it's the will of the board that we can go ahead and get our staff, get our HR reports voted on tonight, if the board is comfortable with that. And then we would be able to ensure we're prepared accordingly moving forward for our school district. I'm not sure who would like to take it, if it's gonna be Dr. Burnick. Are you gonna be providing the Human Resource Committee staff reports and review? And is there objection from the board to go ahead and proceed this evening with your staff reports?
With these two reports.
I think there's
Three
three.
reports.
Yeah.
And Madam President, there was some things that were discussed in HR. A few other things, the way in which, and Dr. Burnick, I see that you guys, financial piece was a part of the financial conversation, the curriculum conversation, when we talked about the certification of our special education teachers and the reason for them being moved. And so I think as a member of the HR committee, that we need to go ahead, if at all possible, to and act on these, because teachers are being transferred. And all of those transfers came within basically the special education department, the majority of them, and then the new hires, so that they can start. They need to know they're gonna be getting the letters and tell them where they are, and we won't hold them up. They have to wait for us to have a meeting for this to take place.
All right, thank you. So Dr. Burnick, I would ask that you proceed with staff reports H1 through H3.
All righty. Staff report H1, separation of employment, July 22, 2025. List of employees whose employment relationship with the district is or will be separated is submitted to the board each month. Facts and analysis. It's recommended that the Board of Education votes to accept the separation of employment of the following staff. Policy reference 3140, 4140. Termination and resignation of professional or support staff. Strategic goal reference would be personnel leadership. Benton Harbor area schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. Demiron Guidry, CTE media communication teacher. Termination effective day would be 6/30/2025. Building would be Benton Harbor High School. Date of hire is 10/17/2022. Date of the exit interview is to be determined along with it being completed and shared with the board. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area School Board of Education votes to accept the separation of employment for the aforementioned staff.
Is there a motion to approve staff report H1?
Motion to approve staff report H1.
Is there a second or support?
Support.
The motion has been made by trustee Rocket Martin and supported by trustee Doyle. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Trustee Gavin?
It says on the, thank you, President Robinson. It says on this document that the date exit interview sent was TBD. And so I guess what I'm wondering is, why is that? Yeah, why is that?
We haven't sent the exit interview. We plan to send the exit interview as soon as possible. I'll just have to connect with Human Resources Department to get that done.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say that, it's really challenging, and I'm glad we're being asked to vote tonight. Okay, so one, I don't understand what the urgency is to vote on this issue tonight. I feel like there should be an urgency in getting input from the staff person who has exited prior to us voting. If that staff person decides that they don't want to do the exit interview, then that's their choice, and I respect that. I would vote accordingly, but to vote on this without that being offered, it feels premature. And so I guess my question is, why is there a sense of urgency to vote on this issue tonight as opposed to the next meeting after they've been extended an exit interview?
Secretary Triplett.
Madam President and Trustee Gavin, there was a meeting held with the previous superintendent and director of CTE, also with the attorney. And so the information and the recommendation with all of the information that was garnered there is supported the termination. The reason, I'm not sure, like you said, as far as the date of exit interviews and what have you, this is something that has been inconsistent and something that we really, really have to work on, because sometimes when there's an exit interview, when it's board bashing, we get those reports. If someone from central administration, somebody's been terminated or what have you, we get those reports, but any other report, we don't get an opportunity to see those things. But the urgency, if you will, all of these reports is not just urgent for this one. It just happened that this is the type of report, a termination report that we definitely always do not feel well about. But that this job has to be posted as well if this person is terminated, because we have to have a teacher in that classroom, and that job has to be posted. So I think that would, if anything, that would be the reason, or we'll start the school year off with a substitute teacher in the media room and media and communication. So that would be why they would ask for, from a human resource standpoint, for this to be done, so they can go ahead, because they have posted, and I did want to share this with you all. Unbeknownst to you all, those human resource jobs that were posted, they were always in clump. And we could never tell, like, if, say, for instance, at Fairplain East, there is a first grade vacancy, there is a second grade vacancy, there is a third grade vacancy. We never knew where those vacancies were. And so in our human resource committee, that has been adjusted. So when people go, and it's on our site, because people go looking for a job, and I might say, well, I don't teach second grade, but I do teach first grade. So they need to know specifically. So that would be the reason of, if anything, that I would look at it and say, if we're going to make a decision to support the recommendation from the previous superintendent, director of CTE, and the attorneys, then we need to do that so that we can post the position, and then that individual still does have an opportunity to have an exit interview.
So I, so I guess what I would say is that I feel like some of my colleagues are privy to information that I'm not, but I'm, you know, being asked to vote. And so I'm wondering, is it possible to receive that information? Is it possible to have a short recess to receive the information and then vote on that?
I don't think that's the protocol.
How is it not a? It's
We
not
can't-
a,
we
it's
can't
not
go into
appropriate.
Closed session. There's no one, this is a termination. We can't go into a closed session.
So are you saying you want to touch base with the chair? You're asking for a recess so that you can be brought to speed from from Secretary Triplett?
I would like to get some raw data. I don't need a closed session or a meeting with the board in closed session. I just need the information, some information that is from the source, a source that would allow me to move forward on a decision.
So what I can do is I can take a brief recess and allow you to consult with Dr. Burnick. And what you do with your recess is your business, but I'll give you that opportunity to consult with Dr. Burnick and become abreast.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if there's no objections, we'll take a really super quick recess. It's 8:17. I'm trying my best to get us home because I know there's a lot of work that we have to do to prepare appropriately for our superintendent in the week, which is why I was trying to get our directors out a little bit early, but we'll take a super brief recess and plan to come back at 8:25. Okay, so apologies to the public. We're returning from recess as of 8:37 PM. Reminder to the board, we are on staff report H1. The motion was made by trustee Rocket Martin and supported by trustee Doyle. Are there any additional questions at this time? You want me to take another recess?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. So we'll allow for trustee Gavin to get back to the table. Are there any questions from the board regarding staff report H1 prior to us taking vote? If there are none, I would ask that Secretary Triplett please call the roll.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, trustee Gavin,
Yes.
trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right. Up next, staff report H2, Dr. Burney.
Staff report H2, transfer of staff, July 22nd, 2025. Submitting for board consideration to approve staff employment in accordance with the revised school code, general laws of Michigan. Facts and analysis, it's recommended that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation for the transfer of the following personnel. Policy reference 3130, 4130. Strategic plan, goal reference, personnel leadership, Benton Harbor area schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. Giselle Hardaway, mild cognitive impaired teacher from Fairplain Middle School to autism spectrum disorder teacher, MLK Junior. Effective date 7/1/2025. Felicia Hall, resource room at Fairplain East to emotional impairment teacher, Fairplain Middle School, effective date 7/1/2025. Ashley Ullery, resource room teacher, Discovery Enrichment Center to resource room teacher, Fairplain East, effective date 7/1/2025. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the transfer of the aforementioned staff.
Is there a motion to approve staff report H2?
I so move.
Trustee Gavin, I believe that was you. Would you like to be the support?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, who is it? Which person is the support?
I think trustee Gavin, was that you, trustee Gavin, for support? Secretary Triplett made the motion.
I support.
Okay, so the motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by trustee Gavin. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I have a quick question.
You have the floor.
Dr. Burnick, how many students can Mrs. Hardaway service in the new position of autism spectrum disorder?
We're gonna keep her at 8,
8?
below 8.
Okay, thank you.
So I want
You
to,
have the floor.
so what is the maximum number though?
So it's not really a maximum number. It works more of a ratio. So I believe that our county has a waiver for 1 adult every 2 students.
So do we have a paraprofessional that's assigned in that classroom with her?
Yes, we have at least 1 paraprofessional, 2 paraprofessionals in that classroom.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other questions, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote for staff report H2?
President Robinson.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Gavin.
Yes.
Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, Dr. Burning, staff report H3. And then if you could provide the clarification regarding the effective date for Ms. Fall as well, that would be great.
All right, staff report H3, so submitting for employment of staff, July 22nd, 2025, submitting for board consideration to improve the employment of staff in accordance with revised school code and other general laws of Michigan. Facts and analysis, it's recommended that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation for hire of the following personnel. Policy reference 3120, 4120. Strategic goal reference, personnel leadership, Benton Harbor area schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. Felicia Hall, certified teacher, special education, FPE. The effective date is 2/2/2025 because that is when she became certified by the state. She has been considered in all of our systems as a certified teacher, but has never received board consideration. And then the other one is Cynthia Katanko, certified teacher, 2nd grade, Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary. Both of the funding sources are general fund, and Miss Katanko's effective date is 7/21/2025. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the employment of the aforementioned staff.
All right, and Dr. Burning, to my understanding, this individual, she went through one of our
Urban teachers.
one of our programs, correct?
Yeah, it's our urban teacher. It was our partnership with Western. But she was successful.
So we would have previously had her title not as certified, but more so through that particular program. And so we're just doing the legalities or the official ritual of recognizing that she is now actually a certified teacher for Benton Harbor Area Schools as of the date that she received that certification. So at this time, I'll ask, is there a motion to approve staff report H3?
I so move.
Is there a second or support?
Support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Trustee Doyle. I'll open the floor for questions, comments, concerns.
Madam President.
You have the floor.
This has been a concern for me for the last 2 administrations. When we talk about effective dates, and I think that we need to be clear on this. So if we're voting, why wouldn't the effective date be today? Regardless to what the other things are, because they weren't in this particular role, the effective date should be today versus when they actually came in the building or when they were working and they got certified, because the question says the effective date, which would be July the 22nd, the day that we voted for them to become teachers.
So to my understanding, the teacher has been recognized as a certified teacher. Has she already been paid at the rate of a certified teacher since February?
Yes, since February
But she
2nd.
never came before the board, and that right there too, that too is concerning as well. I'm just saying, just in the.
No, I understand
You know what
completely.
I'm saying, in the future, and it has created so much, it makes the documents, when we go back and we pull the document, then these dates are very, very critical because it has things to do, their retirement, all of these different things are taken into consideration. And if this stuff is wrong, so somehow she was getting, who made that decision? to start paying her full-time. We knew nothing about it. She had not been hired in at that particular time. So there are loads and loads of things that need to be corrected. And I know that there's been some opening space in HR. So I would feel comfortable moving forward saying the effective date, since we voted, would be the 22nd of July, because this right here is going to determine, I mean, it affects more than what we know.
So I would strongly disagree. However, I would suggest that maybe we have council review if there's any technicalities, because I feel as though I understand what you're saying, that this should be brought to us before she started doing that. And so we're doing it backwards. This is our effort to clean it up. However, if there's hesitations from the board, I completely respect that, and we can get clarification from Cargill as to whether it should be 2/2/25 or the current date.
I don't want to pause because they need to move forward and have these
Okay.
people in position. We can come back, and then if we have to redo it with the necessary adjustments, we can do it then. So I'm
Okay.
in favor of moving forward with it. But
Okay,
just something to be taken into consideration.
understood. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, Secretary Triplett.
Second.
The motion was made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Doyle. Secretary Triplett, please call the vote.
President Robinson.
Yes?
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Gavin.
Yes.
Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, so, I have a splice of old business and new business. Cause we've been, this more so pertaining to the superintendent, contract approval, and things of that nature. So I'll kind of merge the two. So of course, congratulations again to our newly appointed, superintendent, Dr. Simone Griffin. So she will require a full district orientation. I will aid the district in doing so. I would ask Dr. Burnick, and people might want to take some notes. If we could have our principals prepared to give her a tour of their building on Monday, that would be greatly appreciated. I would also like to ensure that she has a formal meeting with her cabinet on Monday. Or are you guys out?
Can we push the principal to the 4th?
They're out right now.
Yes.
We can do that.
We can definitely do cabinet whenever she would like.
Okay,
Right now,
okay, I understand it's the summer. Okay.
And Madam President,
1 second, Secretary Triplett. Okay, and so the meeting with the cabinet. And then there does need to be a formal orientation with her where we go over and give her a quick overview of her administrative guidelines, her board policy, all of those types of things. I would like to be present, if feasible. So if you all could see if this next Friday works for you all, to schedule a formal orientation. Okay, Secretary Triplett.
so as far as the walkthroughs of the building and what have you, the director of facility could do the walkthroughs and then give her an opportunity on the 4th to meet with the principal, so she'll have time to boots on the ground. She'll get a chance to see some things and be able to ask them questions. So if that's something that can be taken into consideration, so she have an opportunity to walk through with the director first,
Okay.
and then go from there. So on in our MASB too, when it says onboarding of the superintendent, is there onboarding with us? And an onboarding,
So you all would have your one-on-ones as well with her.
so you're
Yep, I'm still on my updates.
okay.
Yep,
All right.
okay. And then, of course, the Secretary Triplett stated, we want to make sure, I know Secretary Triplett has had an opportunity to, I did formally request that Secretary Triplett assist me with helping, Dr. Griffin to acclimate to the city of Benton Harbor. So assisting her with things like locating housing and restaurants and things like that as she's learning the city. So he's done a phenomenal job at being a support to her over the past 2 weeks as she's come down and kind of looked around the city, got to know Benton Harbor in transition once we appointed her formally pending contract negotiations. So we will ensure that there's a schedule set up so that Dr. Griffin can have one-on-ones with each of the board. I know that sometimes virtual and phone calls work, but it would be my preference if those are in person. And then it's completely up to you if you all want to do something informal, meeting in the office, or if you want to do something over lunch. I'll allow you all to determine what that looks like, but I do want you all to get some time in the next 2 weeks to sit down and talk to her about your vision as a trustee for Benton Harbor area schools, and she can share her personal vision with you all as well. So really just wanting to build those relationships right from the start strong. Yes, sir.
Madam President, as your secretary of the Board of Education, and this is one thing that we did discuss in order to make sure that you're on point, because we have responsibilities as the board.
Absolutely,
As the
absolutely.
secretary of this board, I will be getting with you and my colleague. We can schedule so we can.
So you're gonna assist me in getting that
Yeah, we
scheduled?
can get it
Awesome.
scheduled. I can call my colleague. We put the date and the time available so y'all can get in. Because I know she's gonna be very, very busy, but you do have a secretary on this Board of
Thank you very
Education.
much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next up, back to school bash. Just a reminder that is Wednesday, August the 13th. We will do her formal reception unless the board feels otherwise. I thought it would be an amazing thing to do her formal reception that same day and have it take place immediately after at 6 o'clock here in the library. So Ms. Booth is working on it. You know, I have the press release hot and ready. I wasn't sure if negotiations want to go through at the last minute, so it wasn't set to go out tonight, but it will go out in the morning. So she will inform and remind the public of Back to School Bash that Dr. Griffin will be present and that the formal reception will be here in the library August 13th. I would like it to be nice, similar to how we did for Coach Wilhite. We had the full buffet laid out. So if you all have some suggestions for programming, it won't be an official board meeting, but it will be a welcome reception and we will have a small program. So if you all have ideas of things that you would like to implement into that, let Secretary Triplett know. And then lastly, we'll be doing a stakeholder tour. So Ms. Singer, I know we have a list that has all of the municipalities and when they meet. They rarely change their meeting times, but if we can just ensure that that's accurate and then see if I can get on their agenda for their next meetings so that I can take her and formally introduce her to each municipality. I think the first one that we'll go to is the city of Benton Harbor. That'll be the first Monday of the month. I know some of them are a little further out. I invite and welcome the board to either of the tour stops. However, I am strongly asking if you all are able to be present at that city hall meeting on the first of the month. I'm going to request to be formally on that agenda, and I would like you all to be present to stand and be recognized if your schedule allows when I introduce her to the city of Benton Harbor. If you're free. Trustee Gavin.
President Robinson, will there be a calendar of the tour?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
So right now, the grid is the same schedule that I've used for like talking to them about the master facilities plan and all of the updates that I go communicate. So we'll have that schedule. It's a Excel sheet, I think, a spreadsheet. So we'll get that sent out to the board so you guys can see where we will be when. And then the next piece of that stakeholder tour, I know that there are other organizations that we want to ensure that she's connected with. Ms. Singer will be extremely helpful in helping her make those connections based on the current meetings and things that were already scheduled with the former superintendent. But I would also like to make sure that we maximize on our church bodies. So if you attend and would like to invite her to your congregation, I would ask that you would, or if you have a congregation, to suggest that you all would make that communication with your church secretary or pastor, and then let Secretary Triplett know so we can see if we are welcome to come in and just she can just greet the community. That'll be a large body of people to be able to contact at one time as well. Any other suggestions for locations or stops or tours that we can do? I would appreciate that. And I know that the press is going to be super eager to talk to her and interview her, but I don't anticipate allowing that again until August 13th. Because I'm sure they'll be here. Yes, ma'am.
They meet at 7 or 6?
7 o'clock.
We also, your township is.
Yeah,
a large
township,
part
yep.
Of our district.
Yep.
So we need to, yeah.
You guys are welcome to come. I'd like to at least have one or two other trustees with me at each stop. Trustee Gavin?
I just want to make sure I heard you right. You said allowing, you mean like talking to the press?
Yeah, like, they be thirsty for no offense. And so there was a request that was made previously. There were certain questions that were provided in advance, and then those questions were not the questions that were, there were questions that were asked that were not provided in advance. And so I'm just trying to be a little more focused on allowing her to focus on the work versus being on the press and answering questions that she may not have answers to this early in her transition.
I would like to add a different perspective out of
Okay.
respect.
Okay,
I think that Dr. Griffin did an amazing job.
I do too.
I think that she is equipped.
And I don't mean
And
allowing her, but allowing
think
them.
that it's perfectly okay.
It's not allowing
I
her.
think it's perfectly okay to say I'm looking into that. And we need we need somebody to be the spokesperson for us during this time, especially during the back to school, like between now and that back to school bash segment where we're enrolling and getting folks excited about coming back to Benton Harbor. So I'm wondering, like, is there a middle ground in which?
We can find a middle ground.
Okay.
I'm just
Thank
being,
you.
I'm just overly protective right now. And I will give you more deets on
I
that.
saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, okay.
And those.
No, she did fabulous. I
Yeah.
agree. And what people don't know is that I was actually in the Zoom room and I wanted to call out and say, wait a minute, you, but she handled it, she handled it very well. And so the one thing that I did speak to her about is, you know, a lot of times she's heard us say little antics or make jokes about, you know, our narrative with the press. And so she was able to see firsthand what was communicated to us versus what was actually discussed. And so she was actually not within 24 hours of being selected, she was able to experience that. So she is coming in eyes wide open, knowing the types of sensationalized questions that are going to be asked of her. So I definitely think she's prepared. And when I called her and told her that they wanted her, her response was, "You want me to do it?" And I said, "We hired you, didn't we?" That's what we hired you to do. Yes, I do. I think you can do it. So it's just, we can definitely find a middle ground. I just want to make sure that she's not pulled too much from the work and that we're not caught off guard by anything. Okay.
Thank you.
So if you guys think of any other places, you know, over the summer as we work to make sure the community is aware that she's here, feel free to shoot those over. She is in control of her schedule. These are just the acts that the things that I think that we can do to make sure that she has a phenomenal start at Benton Harbor area school. So that's all I have for old and new business. Anyone else have anything? I know Trustee Raquette sometimes has MASB stuff. Mike, please.
Our leadership conference is coming up in October 24th, 25th, 26th, I think is that weekend. So, and it will be in Traverse City. So by all means, you know, sign up, get some classes. We can always go better and go higher. If our whole board got certified, I think level 1, we could receive a state reward. So we don't have much further to go. So, and that would be nice. That's a feather in our cap that we were able to work together and get that accomplished. So, you know, encourage colleagues. That's all I can say. Also, we did meet with our BHAS Association. I was kind of trying to wait for them to send me the minutes from that before I brought it to the board, but I'll try to have it ready for you on our next agenda when we meet again so that I can tell you what's going on there.
All righty.
Other than that, Dr. Griffin, welcome. Glad to have you on board. Look forward to working with you and making your job successful for you. Okay. And that will be all.
Okay, Secretary, Trustee Gavin, I think Triplet had his finger raised for old or new business.
Finger or hand?
It was whichever you had. Go ahead. I don't remember which one it was. You have the floor though.
Is it for me?
Yes. Did you have something to share
No,
under old or new?
No, I was just saying in all sincerity, and Madam President, I will do my best to work, you know, to make sure, seriously, like with all the things that you have here with the for the old business and new business, and work alongside Dr. Burnett, if you know, on
That, thank you.
on those things, you know. And I just want to tell Dr. Burnick, I don't know, you just gave me a bit of peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you did an amazing job. And we just appreciate the expertise and the professionalism and all of that. And I too, to our new superintendent and to our cabinet, you know, we're gonna all work together. You know, and it's very, very important that we don't want to just, we're moving forward. And one person said to me before, you cannot go forward always looking back. And so I'm just excited about all of it, and I'm ready to go.
All right, trustee Gavin had new business.
It's kind of old and I would like to make it new. I wanted to get it on the agenda today, but I didn't, and I'm hoping the board will indulge me. I would like us to consider, and I would like to get it to you all before the next board meeting for a vote. So our mission of Benton Harbor Area Schools is to educate, guide, and inspire students by developing their skills and knowledge to be globally competitive.
You mentioned
And
that
I've been-
prior.
Yes, I mentioned that before. I'm very much interested in, for a healthy environment, for us to change the wording from competitive to collaborative. That is the highest level of communication. And it encourages us to be our highest selves for each other, for making each other better, as opposed to competitive, figuring out what's the worst in others and being better than them. And I'm just hoping that we will be open to just making that little tweak in the mission statement. I feel like it would bring out the best in us all.
I have no objections. Can you work with Ms. Singer to draft the resolution?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other new or old business? All right, hearing none, open public comment. Hearing none. Superintendent announcements and comments, Dr. Burnick, this is your last rip.
Hey, it is.
I think we need to stand. Whoa, whoa, I need a Johnny Good time. I need a Johnny Good time. Oh, Johnny Good time. Whoa. That nobody can deny.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Not necessary. Thank you. As always, I want to thank the Board of Education. I also want to thank all of my colleagues that I get to see daily and work with daily. And Dr. Griffin, you and I, we're going to be working side by side for a little while. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
All right, awesome. Up next, board member announcements. And actually, if there's no objections from the board, I would like to give Dr. Griffin an opportunity to speak before we do. Okay, you have the floor. Can we ensure her mic is on since we've had no one at public comment? So we are going to use this time to allow our superintendent as of Monday to make any announcements or comments. You have the floor. Our
I
superintendent.
would be remiss if I didn't say to God be the glory for the things that he has done in this time and space. I thank you all so much. I really am overwhelmed at the wonderful, beautiful energy in the room. Look at my cabinet. Thank you all for staying late for me. Looking wonderful, the energy among them. I cannot wait. Get ready to be hated on. Oh my God. They were you all were worth the wait. I'm so grateful. Thank you to the board. Thank you so much. I know this was a very long and stressful process. And I thank you for being flexible and patient with me in this time, because I couldn't be more honored to be in your presence, to serve this beautiful community and take our babies to the next level so that we can collaborate to be globally competitive. Let's go, Tigers.
All right. All right, board member announcements and comments. Trustee Doyle.
I'm so fired up after that. All right, let's go Tigers. Okay, so I would just like to thank everybody who came out. I'm not sure if anybody came, but to those who are watching, the staff, the board, I love how we are getting along so much better. I'm grateful. I don't even have the words to how grateful I am for Dr. Griffin to be here, because I know you're gonna make a change and help us move forward. And I'm grateful for that.
All right. Trustee Rocket Martin.
My comments.
You did, you slid them in. I just didn't want to call you out for it. Okay. Trustee Gavin.
Thank you, President Robinson. I want to welcome you again, Dr. Griffin. I am so grateful to have you in our midst. And once you meet our children, you're just going to fall in love. And so I'm just looking forward to that journey for you and our phenomenal staff. So I'm just super excited about what's to come. I want to encourage everyone to, if you haven't already, to take the Peace for Life Challenge. It is life-changing. You identify the habit that is not serving you, at least one, and replace it with one that is serving you. And you're also making a recommitment to our schools and community. And you can go to peaceday247.com to get more information about that. I've just been hearing about really phenomenal life changes, and I've been observing some changes in myself as I work on it as well. And we want to encourage all of our students, their parents, and community members to join in. There's been a lot of violence across the world, not just Benton Harbor, but across the world. And I believe that we can be the change that we're looking for. On another note, I am hoping that we, as soon as possible, can put together some type of strategic plan for heating and cooling in the building, in the high school, to make sure that the community is ensured that our students will have a comfortable environment while they're here. And I'm hoping that that will be a priority. As a former teacher, I know what it's like to sit in the class with a student who was hot here, cold there, now they mad at everybody, right? So we want to make sure that we do what's best for them and get on top of that and prioritize that. Once again, I'm really grateful for my colleagues. I want to thank you, President Robinson, for dealing with the negotiations in a transparent way and making sure that we all were able to be involved and coming up with something that got us a yes, a yes from a phenomenal new superintendent. So I'm just looking forward to the future. Also in regards to HR, I'm looking forward to the progress that we will be making in our human resources department as it relates to our staffing, and very excited about the teachers, the new certified teachers. I think we're on a roll while everyone else is laying off. That gives us an opportunity to snag certified teachers and to treat the ones that we have with the utmost respect. You all have an amazing Tuesday.
All right, Secretary Triplett.
Madam President, before I give my comments, Ben Herbert just recently lost a giant in former Commissioner Ralph Crenshaw and also former Commissioner Dennis Knowles and from the 4th Ward. So they both passed away on the same day. And so we can have a moment of silence for them if that's okay. Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I want to say, as I said already, and people don't have to do nice things. People don't have to step in. And I just want Dr. Burnick to know, in all sincerity, that I know I can speak on behalf of all of us, that we do appreciate you holding the line for us in this transitional period to our Board of Education. Our norms of collaboration are coming to fruition, and we're learning how to work those things, and to see us getting comfortable in the norming stage of those steps. And I'm just so excited, and I'm praying that we will reach performing, where we can step back and feel comfortable to say that we have a leader and who leads our team and with integrity. In my time with Dr. Griffin, I just to have a little piece of hope. And I haven't felt that way in a long time. And it's all, trauma is something else and you don't even know how to appreciate it. So it's a piece of hope. And don't take it personal about some of the concerns that people might have in this community because we've been through a lot. I think my colleague, Trustee Gavin said something. We were talking after the board meeting last night. We've been in a war for some time now. And so when you come out of war, there's a lot of adjustments. There's a lot of things that have to happen. Some people are shell-shocked and all this thing. So it's not, some of the things that you may encounter is not personally toward you. I'm praying for you. I'm grateful beyond measure. I'm gonna do my duty. I'm gonna be on YouTube. No passes. Because we don't want to be pseudo employees. We have hired a superintendent. We all have our lives, we all have our professions, and we all have our jobs. Sometimes we've had to, but may look like micromanaging and what have you, we were fighting for our district. And so I wish you the very best. Know that I'm praying for a hedge of protection around you, that the Lord protect you from danger seen and unseen, bring back to your remembrance everything that you learned as you matriculated through the universities and the colleges and campuses and through your work experiences, what have you. One thing for sure and two things for certain, Penn Harbor, if they got your back, they got your back. So again, I wish you the very, very best and I'm excited about the upcoming school year. Thank you so very much.
All righty, so I will be brief. Just want to thank the Board of Education and our staff for their time today. Thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart, Dr. Burnick. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
You've been our superintendent for 22 days and you've already been through brim and fire.
Yes.
And that's not even just a metaphor, literally. We've been through brim and fire. And one thing that I would say is having your presence there that afternoon or that morning was invaluable because I was on 100 and you was like, it could be worse. It could be worse. And it just made me kind of stop and center and think about, you know what, he's right.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
So I just appreciate you for your calming demeanor, your willingness to jump in, and it really makes it strongly reflective of how embedded in Benton Harbor area schools you were as a director, because this was an easy transition for you. And you've been put in difficult position with individuals that were once your colleagues, and you were able to rise to leadership, whether it was good or bad. So I value that. I hope that this is a lifetime experience for you and that it's one that does bless your future professional career. I'm extremely excited to welcome Dr. Simone Griffin as our superintendent. I know that you are extremely excited to be here because you've been on me about your contract, which the board does not know. I've been checked via text and all types of stuff. Secretary Triplett had to let her know to have several seats because Dr. Griffin said we're late in the game and school's getting ready to get started and she needs to get in here. And I love it.
Yes.
Because accountability is on the way. So I thank you. I agree. I don't know if you heard on your way here, my comment earlier when we approved you was to God be the glory. So for you to come to the mic and say the exact same thing is just reflective that he is all within this. So I thank you. I welcome you. I'm extremely excited and congratulations and well done to the Board of Education. And thank you to HYA for your service. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
Is there a second or support?
Second.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Trustee Doyle. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Secretary Triplett.
Madam President, President Robinson.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Gavin.
Yes.
Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, meeting adjourned as of 9:15 PM. I do have the contract hard copy ready, so we will be signing officially tonight. You all have a great evening.